always tell moms and dads who come to me tearful that they've been doing things wrong with their children. I always say, you know what? The good news is that by mending what we've done, we actually strengthen our relationship in a way that it's stronger than it would have been if we'd been a perfect parent. Well, in the first place, I always say the only parent that hasn't made a mistake as a parent is one who hasn't had a child more than 15 minutes. So just relax now into the family of mankind and know that we're going to make mistakes. And you know what? If I could go back as a mom of grown sons and fix the mistakes that I made before, I'd make new mistakes just by the fact that I am human. So the important concept is to know that we always want to be back in relationship with our children. There are going to be times when their misbehavior or a bad choice on our part ruptures this relationship. But what we know from research that is a fabulous encouragement to the parents that I have served over the years is when there is a connection and then there's a rupture for whatever reason, when we come back, maybe it's the child has misbehaved very badly and there's been a meltdown, but we stick with that child until we bring them back into relationship. Or maybe we've been harsh, or we've used mean words, or maybe it was a bad day for us and we popped off at our child, or maybe we made a bad choice and we used a bad kind of discipline that we realize now was not God's ways with us. But for whatever happens, when I come back to that child and I can say, son, you know, when I asked you to forgive me for talking to you like I did a while ago, I realized you really needed to tell me how you felt. And I realized when I was angry with you that I didn't give you a chance to tell me how you felt. So when there's a connection and then it's ruptured and we come back to connection, there are actually chemicals released in the brain that have to do with contentment, that have to do with relationship. And one of those is dopamine. It gives us joy. And one of those actually causes new synaptic connections to form. So did you realize that we actually get deeper brain development for, and spiritual development for, and emotional development for doing the good stuff if we keep repair as our goal? Understand there will always be ruptures. That's just the way of humankind. But we can not let go until we're in repair. Rupture, but always come back. Repair. In the same way that Jesus became flesh and he dwelt among men. It wasn't God calling us up to heaven saying, hey, you guys, coming up. But it was Jesus making God's ways clear to us in his living with us. We can't teach our children something we don't live. So if I'm asking my children to be respectful with me and I'm disrespectful with them, then I've missed the goal. I've missed that mark of God's love. If I am asking my child to let me tell them how their actions made me feel or how I felt about their actions, but I don't let them tell me how they felt about my actions, I've missed the mark. I told my boys when they were growing up, you can say anything you need to say to me. You can say, I don't like that rule. I don't think it's fair. I don't want to go to bed. You can talk to me about what you think. You can tell me how you feel. I'm asking that you do it with respect. So it's not okay to say mean, hateful things to me, but to say, Mom, that doesn't feel fair. I don't want to go to bed now. I need to be able to let my child have their words and know that they're loved and that those are the range of emotion. So for repair, rupture and repair will be taught by our example. When I've made a mistake, I need to be vulnerable to my child. I need to be willing to have integrity with my child, because you know what? They knew you made a mistake a long time before you told them you did. And when you say, son, I was wrong about that, I am so sorry. I can remember one time with one of my own children, he went to get a haircut and he came home from the barber. He was in high school and his dad had driven him and he came home from the barber with a bowl haircut. And it was just the most atrocious thing I'd ever seen in my life. And we had a family photo the next day. And I was beside myself because this very expensive family portrait, which was the first time we'd done it in years, was going to have this horrific haircut. And I popped off and I said, why did you get a haircut like that? I can't believe you got your hair cut like that. You've never had your hair cut like that before in all the times you've gone to the barber. And it was a very short period of time. God tethers us to that short rope. If connection is our goal, connection with Him and connection with each other. And I came back to him and I said, son, I am so sorry. You know, when I was in college, I used to iron my hair. It was long, and I'd lay my head on the ironing board and iron my hair. And my mother thought that was the ugliest thing that she'd ever seen when I came home. And you know what? I know you've got different tastes. And you know what? We'll have a family photo tomorrow, and it'll be a fine family photo. And then maybe another time we'll have a different haircut. Maybe I'll have a different haircut too. But my son was able to forgive me for popping off. But I was wrong. I was wrong. I was intolerant. And I was hurtful to my son. And if my goal, I want to, as a child of God, my goal is always to look into His face and behold His glory. I want to look into His face and know who He is. And my goal for my children is that they can come and look into my face, and that I can look into their face. I love the passage, the glory of a child is his father. And that glory is actually the reflected glory. It's like looking in a mirror. So that child looks into that daddy's face. That child looks into that mama's face. And they know who they are. And they know they're glorious. And they know they're precious. And they know they're made in the image of this loving God, whose face we seek. Ruptures are going to happen. But if my goal is to behold God's glory and to be in connection with Him, and to look into the eyes of my child and to be in connection with them, I can always come back to home base.